Good morning, Assalamu alaikum everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you all for joining our today's event. I am Muhammad Haidar. I am the MC of this event, and as well I would like to thank our moderator, our speakers, and our keynote speaker as well. So first of all, the event is organized by ICCons. ICCons, it's a platform where people from different industries can share their experiences. As well, it can enable professionals to collaborate and thrive. And the event is sponsored by Inflexion. As Inflexion, we are SAP Gold Partner for the MENA region with offices in UAE, Lebanon, and Oman, and our global delivery center in India. We are in the business for more than 16 years, and we have implemented for more than 300 plus projects successfully. We were able to deliver quality services for our growing 125 plus of employees. And 97% of these employees are consultant certified, combined with 1,050 years of SAP consultant experience. As well, we have 30 years of experience in the country localization. As Inflexion, we are SAP PCE certified, which stands for Partner Center of Expertise, which it's awarded post-SAP audit. It ensures that Inflexion meets SAP SLAs, the infrastructure, the certified people, and the processes. And I'm proud to share with you that we have been awarded in 2023 as well in the beginning of 2024. Most of our awards which come with Delivery Excellence Awards, huge number of successful go-lives and with 0 escalations. As well, the first runner-up for Best Performer Award, and as well the Marketing Go-to-Market Best Practice Award. We are focused SAP solutions providers, covering small, medium, and large enterprises. From the ERP part, we cover SAP Business One, SAP Business by Design, and Rise SAP S4HANA, as well, Grow with SAP. From the line of business part, we have SAP Ariba, which is the procurement solution, which covers from procure to pay. And we have the SAP Success Factors, which is the human experience management solution. And we have SAP Customer Experience, it's well known as CRM. And we have as well extensions and packages which developed by Inflexion on top of SAP technology. And we have some of our qualified packages from SAP. We have S4 Express, as well we have the Exime Business by Design. As Inflexion, we do implementations and rollout services. We do support and maintenance. As well, we do integration and extension with SAP or third-party systems. So I can name a few of our customers in Oman. We have Atyaf Food Industries, we have Yusur, we have Mazoon Dairy, as well we have Falcon Oilfield Services, we have Green Ferro Alloy, as well we have New Matrix. As well, some of selected customers in UAE, we have Galfar, we have Adkan Pharma, we have Al Fattan, we have Royal Furniture. As well, we have some customers in Lebanon. We have Afrisal, we have OMT, we have Crown Flour Mills, we have Sadapak, as well we have Volvo. And now please help me to introduce you to Mr. Saad Zakwani to the stage, who is our keynote speaker for this event.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Can you hear me? Yes? Yeah. So my name is Saad Zakwani. I am the head of digital transformation from Petroleum Development of Oman. I'm privileged to be here representing PDO, and also capable of being able to share little bits and pieces of knowledge sharing on artificial intelligence, inshallah. Yep. So I have a slide pack, if I can. Yes, thank you. Yes. So when I was actually asked to speak, I thought about a couple of topics, and I will tell you how I landed to where we are today. Hopefully everyone gets the value we're looking for. My initial topic was to talk about ChatGPT. Yeah, but it's getting really boring, so I promised myself I will not talk about this, and if I do, just raise your hand. I might be going very far on that. And then I thought about sharing a couple of products, AI products, what we have developed in Oman, in PDO specifically. But I think what's valuable is to actually understand how AI impacts us as individual, us as our career, and how it's actually taking what we used to do, and we need to be very careful of what we should focus on doing in future. I start with the statement stating that if you're afraid of AI taking your jobs, don't be. You need to be afraid of people using AI taking your jobs. Okay, demystifying AI. AI has its own definition. As a matter of fact, every decade when we advance in technology, we tend to change the description of AI. Initially, a computer was actually noted as artificial intelligence. A computer, when you add the hard disk and it computes for like 2 or 3 days and you get your balance sheet report in accounting, at that time it was actually termed artificial intelligence. Then we grew to the Alan Turing testing, where questions a human could respond, and if the question a machine can respond, then we term that AI. We've advanced so far that the definition is very perspective. You ask one person and they'll give you their perspective of the definition of artificial intelligence. You ask another one. So I thought, why not demystify it? We focus AI from the baseline to what it could be. And AI could actually be defined into 3 categories, or I call them 3 tiers. 1, automation. And if you're working in an organization, you're very familiar about automation. Automation is as simple as your standard operating procedure. You've been doing it A to Z. You automate partially or the full scope of it. For example, data entry. Every day you have to go to work, and the first thing you need to do is to be able to add a few lines into Excel. Not doing that, you automate it. That's part of the first tier in automation. Second part is augmentation. Augmentation is the ability of machines to be able to give you insights for you to validate or process. Automation does not do that. Automation is pure machine based. It's almost, you can consider it the if-else concept. If this, then you put your logic in, and it will never change. Augmentation is what we are actually seeing nowadays. ChatGPT is part of generative AI, but it's on the augmentation layer. Why? Because it does not send your emails. It helps you write them, but you have to copy, paste, and most of the time make sure the font is not pasted as you want it, so people don't know that you're copying from ChatGPT. And then you read it, change whatever you need to change, then you send it. That's augmentation. Everyone's familiar with Tesla? Tesla, you buy one, the marketing part is autonomous driving, but you're not going to use autonomous driving. You're using augmentation. You can look at the steering can actually turn, but you are there. Moving to autonomy now. Autonomy is when you're actually sipping your cup of tea, your car goes and picks your grocery for you and brings them back home. That's autonomy. There is nobody inside the car. Fortunately, alhamdulillah, our governance does not allow autonomy yet, but we are not very far from it. Autonomy is when you're actually investing 1 hour at work. The 6 or 7 hours is actually done by AI, machine learning, and the likes of it. We've not reached there because we are very careful. Most of our companies, including PDO, we are not confident enough to let machines take decisions. We want to read that email before the machine sends it. We don't want a machine to go through CV shortlisting and choose who is the next candidate for your company. We're not ready yet. We don't want machines to be able to talk with our vendors. Quite challenging. Are they going to be rude? Are they going to be too nice on someone who's not actually paying? So at the moment, AI is advancing. It has touch autonomy, but at the same time, we are capitalizing it on augmentation. Now, when companies come and say, oh, you don't need to do this anymore, end to end, we can actually let AI autonomously drive this, you say, no, take a break. Most of the time it's just on the slides. Automation, we've seen basic Excel formulas, Excel macros when you record, RPA technologies, your business workflow processes could be considered automation. Augmentation is on the likes of ChatGPT. Augmentation is also on Tesla, which we took an example of. Autonomy is an area where we actually experiment, but we do not have it in the market yet. Believe it or not, even pilots, there's augmentation part of it. A lot of times they are not allowed to sleep, but they can actually sleep. Okay, now how does this impact us? Remember when I say don't be afraid of AI taking your jobs, be afraid of people who are using AI? If you're looking at your job is compromised by a job description. Before you enter a company, or when you're moving from one position to the other, the company tells you this job was actually based on this JCP and this is what you expected to do, A, B, C, D. And then you go for the interview, you get the job and you do exactly different. No, I'm just kidding. Then you go through the exact job description. Now, the automation, augmentation, and autonomy could actually impact each and every part of your job description. So if you are supposed to be sending reports, you should not send reports. Automation can do that for you. If you are actually expected to write technical summaries, ChatGPT could really help you with. We had one of the cost estimation. So what we do in PDO, for example, we don't buy a pencil, and a pencil is just an example of a product, without checking historically how much did we buy the pencil for. And this exercise is very, very crucial to make sure that we don't buy a pencil the price of a car. And we call this cost estimation exercise. And we have cost estimation engineers whose sole responsibility is to go into SAP and look at historical, build 2 or 3 past payments, and then justify what is actually being proposed. We've looked at that when we say, okay, that's cost estimation engineers can do way better. We have augmented that process. Currently, they validate, and alhamdulillah, we actually buy a pencil on the price of a pencil. Yeah, there is no value if I don't talk about my team. Otherwise, how would you know how it impacts us? So I chose a couple of team members. We'll start with Fatma. Fatma joined us in 2018 in finance, very good in numbers. She joined a part and parcel of the Digital Center of Excellence. That's what my department is referred to. And she was focused on automation in finance. Finance at that time, we were managing at around 600 to 800 vendors any given time. And following up with vendors is not easy, but very effective for PDO supply. So asking a vendor that you are expected to deliver X at this date, would you be able to deliver this? And if they say yes, you earmark it that this is good. And if they say no, you have to go and change that date on when you expect that delivery. Is very essential for our operations. We used to have some parts of the team who would do it manually. Fatma came in, automated the entire process. She handles with her automation around 600 vendors on any given month, communication back and forth to be able to know exactly what we need when we will get it. She also automates exchange rates, where we used to look at it every monthly. This is our static. We will go for August or we'll go for September. Currently, she goes into each and every bank and takes the exchange rate literally daily, and we actually pay our vendors based on that day's value. And she has done quite a lot of elements into finance, including monthly and period end, if you're familiar with it. She's my favorite, by the way. Yeah. Salama, I think I spoiled everything, but anyway, Salama is in HSC. Salama wakes up very early in the morning after Fajr prayers, makes sure the HSE report is sent on time. HSE is quite valuable for us, so we don't start the day until we actually know what happened yesterday and what we need to remediate. Najma started working in exploration, calculating central velocity, and then when COVID hit, she was responsible in making sure whoever comes to PDO, they actually sign off that they're feeling much better. She would actually give road pass letters to employees, literally manage the workforce during COVID. And last, Musa'ad is in engineering. He's mainly focused on alarm rationalization. So in operation, each and every alarm has to be rationalized as high, medium, or low. So when it goes off, you actually look at what you're actually prioritizing on. And in every project, you have between 10 to 20,000 alarms. Every alarm has to be rationalized, and you usually have an army of people trying to do a rationalization per project. Musa'ad has automated approximately 95% of it. For those who have actually seen this, none of them are actually humans. They're all bots, and they actually hold the names. They hold the names, they hold MU numbers. So I have my PDO MU number. They also have the MU number. And here's the interesting part. Every few months, they are actually also required to change their passwords, just like any one of us. Okay. None of them helped in keeping this. Yep, just like any one of us. So what we actually did, which was different, rather than jumping into automation, we actually created an umbrella in PDO and made sure governance comes first. If they are going to do what we are expected to do, they have to do it under our own governance. So passwords, we are not, they know the passwords as per the fluff files they are accessing, but none of us actually are aware of the passwords and how they're actually changing it. They go through MUs, they go through access. So if someone is doing finance, they actually within SAP have finance access. Like Fatma has finance access, Musa'ad does not. So they cannot, and the best part about it, two things, they work 24/7 and you cannot steal them from me. So your package, keep it in your pocket. You cannot offer them any money that they will leave my team and join yours. Ladies and gentlemen, my job is really cool because I have these 4 robots. I also have a lot of other very valuable workforce with me. They're not here, that's why I'm talking about mostly these 4. And we've gone through a journey for the past 4 or 5 years, starting quite small to as of date. The numbers are not correct. This is we have 97 automated live processes. We're talking about live processes is if we automate a process, it works for 2-3 months and then we don't need it anymore, we don't count it. These are what actually works in PDO. We have close to 200,000 man-hours saved. And if we are actually looking at salaries, we would require 8 million plus to pay employees to do what they needed to do. But the good thing is we're not even covering 60% of their capacity. So I'll tell you a very interesting story. In 2018, when we started, we said, okay, you know what? We'll buy 5 licenses of these bots. So we're going to have Fatma and the names, but 5 of them. 2020, we did not use much, so we said, okay, we only renew 4. Whenever we need, we will renew more. Until today, we still have 4. 60% of their capacity, we have not reached 100. For the next few years, we're probably not going to reach 100. That's mostly automation. Now we come to augmentation. I use this concept for people who are not in the oil and gas company. We drill for oil, and what we usually do is you drill down and you hook up, we call them strings, but they're actually pipes. And when you drill for kilometers, these pipe get challenged, and most of our biggest challenge is getting stuck. When a well gets stuck, we lose a couple of hours, days, and sometimes even weeks. And that's money wasted. We're not getting oil, and we keep on paying contractors to drill where we're not making any progress. We've developed a predictive tool powered by AI, which tells us in advance areas where we have to be careful of. So let me give you an example. Before you leave home, for those who actually checked which Crown Plaza, not me, I went there first in Coram, in Google Maps, it will actually tell you how many minutes it will take you till you reach there. But what's really cool is when you scroll out, you can see all of the congestions in traffic. Part of it is orange, which might not stay. Part of it is red, which, okay, you have to be careful. Maybe you need to take the expressway and the likes of it. Exactly the same what we did for drilling. Before they start drilling, they would look at all of the neighboring wells and what problematics they actually had in history, and we will actually plot it like Google Maps, telling if you reach here, you are going to have a problem. And when we start drilling, we record every measurement, and we actually refine that prediction. As of date, we have reduced, including our other efforts, 70% of our stuck pipe. How we used to get stuck before, we're no longer getting that many stuck incidents nowadays. We then took the exact same AI and said, okay, stuck is working, why don't we do it for everything else? And stuck is the first part. We used mud loss, drilling spot overpull, and a lot of these issues that actually cause us to have incidents. We've pushed it in the same AI, and currently, before we drill a well, we know this is a problematic well, we need to redesign it, or there are areas we tell the contractor very carefully that when you reach here, we want you to do X, Y, and Z so that you don't get stuck. Lastly, a really cool use case is on computer vision, my passion. Computer vision, it's merely impossible to resource people to look at screens to tell you a leading indicator. The minute you push a workforce to actually do this, you are always going to get a lagging indicator. An incident will happen, and then you will investigate that incident. It's only through AI and computer vision that you'd be able to see patterns, behaviors, and then you can interfere, raise awareness, and hopefully prevent an accident. We use computer vision to map patterns on our workforce behaviors, and sometimes they know it or they don't know it, but that behavior a lot of times leads to an accident. I'll give you a very good example. Some of the workers have a tendency, when it's too hot, they naturally remove their helmet, and it could just be within seconds. But that seconds is quite vital that they should not do it. You get very surprised something fell on top of somebody's head without a helmet, and then you start questioning, why was he not wearing a helmet? No, he was wearing a helmet, but his behavior after a few minutes, he keeps on removing it or adding it back. Doing something very fast, forgetting wearing gloves. You get injuries on your fingers. So a lot of these behaviors, we've started mapping them. We are raising awareness, and we are becoming a way more safer company than we were. That's it for my side of the presentation. Do you take
part of this event? Actually, I think I'm the lucky one to have those experts with me, so I'm here very curious to learn more. This is a very interesting topic, and I'm also sure that everyone here is looking to learn more about AI, especially where we speak, and there's a lot of concerns about if AI is taking control, or if us as humans will still be having our inputs in there. So before we start, if I may just a little bit give you a brief about myself. My name is Rehab Yassin Al-Lawati. Currently, I work as Director in Human Resources Development at the Ministry of Housing and Urban Planning. My passion is continuing learning. So I've started my master's degree in 2019. It took me 3 years due to COVID, and successfully I've managed, and I've learned a lot. And since then I've decided that the learning has no limits, and as the sky has no limits. So that's about me. I would like to hear from our esteemed guests and panelists, Ms. Haifa.
First of all, thank you for hosting us Inflection, and I'm so honored to be here as a part of the panelists. I'm Haifa Lawati, CHRO in Bank Niswa. I started my career long back from PDO, then Occidental, and I started in Bank Niswa since inception. The journey has taught me a lot from my beginning after the graduation till now, and I'm so honored to be here.
Dr. Fattan, Mr. Fuad, actually.
Thank you, Ms. Haifa, and thanks to IC Coms and Inflection for hosting this event. Very interesting topic. I think I'll be learning more than I'll be knowledge. I'm looking forward to that. It was a very inspiring start from Saud. Thank you for that. About me, I started in the oil and gas industry in the subsurface in 2002. So you might think I'm a dinosaur, but, and then I joined the team who founded Falcon back in 2002. So when we started, we were the first regional local company that can do these kinds of measurements. So we're proud of our journey, and we like to continue to adopt technology into what we do going forward.
Thank you, Mr. Fuad. Dr. Fattan.
Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizers, Inflections, for inviting me to come here and discuss one of the most prominent topics, I presume, now since we're really interested to integrate technology further. My name is Dr. Fatin. I'm the Head of Learning Development in Batlufar. I'm also a PhD in Islamic Finance, and I do join a lot of IF enthusiasts in the integration of further technology. Specifically, that I'm so glad that Haifa's with me today. There are so many contracts that need to be simultaneously executed to be acceptable in the eyes of Sharia. So therefore, technology for us is something not only exciting for the youth, but it also serves a longer term objective and a cause and a purpose. So I'm excited to be here, and I have to share my colleagues' sentiments that we are here to learn from each other, because I believe that since Saud started with the definition, it's a beautiful start. It made me as well focus on some of the aspects that I'm going to explain during the discussions on what do we do in Batlufar to integrate technology further.
Thank you, Dr. Fattan and Ms. Nadine.
Hi everyone, this is Nadine Osman, Project Manager of SAP Success Factor at Muscat Steel Industries. We are one of the leading producer of steel products in Oman, and I've been leading this project to improve our HR processes. And actually, I'm glad to be here with you.
Thank you, Nadine, and everyone. Now, before we dive into this very interesting topic that has a lot of aspects of it, let us just do a quick reflection on what Mr. Saud has said, and also to just understand what does AI mean from your perspective. So if I can start with Dr. Fattan on that.
Certainly.
Well, I'm so glad that Saud started with the definition, because there are so many definitions out there. And from his definition, I'm so humble, and I'll say that when it comes to the activities that we are automating in Bank Dhofar, and this is a discussion that I had with Fuad before we started the panel, is I think we are in automation. But then Fuad told me maybe they're talking to each other with augmentation.
Yeah.
I'm yet to see the augmentation part, to be honest. But I'm so happy to see that Bank Dhofar is automating a lot of functions. So in my mind, with the third definition, we are in the first phase.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, but then the good thing is that we are in one of the phases and we're starting it and it's becoming real. So all the other sessions and events that we participated and we attended, we were discussing that AI will come. It's on the way. What are we going? But today, I think most of us were smart enough to be prepared. And no matter how much we would prepare, we will still need to every day learn and try. So here, let me start with very important topic, as we will be covering covering the human aspects, discussing about different AI applications from different industries, as we have banking sectors, finance, we have oil and gas sector, so we have different backgrounds. So, but let's start with a very important element, which is human, and that takes me to the recruitment part. So as AI has been introduced to the recruitment, so what change management strategies are key to making this transition smooth, and how it is affecting the recruitment? If Ms. Saifa can answer this.
Just to comment on what Mr. Saud has presented. He said that AI is not being recently introduced. It's been for long ages before. And one of the subjects that I studied while I was in university some time back, so it was about artificial intelligence. So it was in different definition, different understanding, and now it is like being taken different phases. AI is not only hitting recruitment, it hit everywhere, even our personal life. If we can see that we cannot think how our life will be without Instagram, WhatsApp, Snapchat, yeah, so it is like hitting us at individual level. And if we can see that the technology is being developing much faster ever than it was in previous years, and every year it is like it coming up and giving us surprises, especially in banking sector. Every time we have different concepts, like now we have open banking, that it will come soon, tokenization, cybersecurity, it has to be really on the top. We have to safeguard all the data of the customers, of the employees. And so recruitment is a small part of it, you know. And then if we want to go for AI, we have to look at, you know, how to change not only in one manner, you know, we have to change the overall culture. So changing that culture in employees and their mindset, it is not easy, because people will be thinking and be threatened that their jobs are replaced. But what it's getting replaced is repetitive and routine jobs. Usually this is what is the target initially. So the same thing with the recruitment. So what we are like looking at that helping, you know, to help the employees to be feeling secure, we need to give them proper learning and training, to upskill them, to reskill them, to help in the change in their mindset. Change management, as I've said, is not just one quick fix. It's a journey. It takes time. Recruitment, we have lots of repetitive jobs like screening CVs, filtering, which that all can be automated and all can be linked with different platforms. So AI, it's helping us in linking with different platforms and comparing the JD that we are installing in the system, the JD of any position, checking the experience that we need, linking it with the different platform of recruitment, bringing the right candidate in place. So all this, that when we are like humans are doing it, we're taking time, but through the IT it can be replaced very AI can be replaced so fast, and not only that, it helps us to be really more efficient. So like a job was taking hours and hours or days, it will be taking only minutes now. So employees, by using the latest technology and AI, they will be more efficient. They need to shift their mindset to more critical thinking, strategic thinking, be more into innovation, come up with the new ideas, how can analyze these reports, how these reports can help us to improve our jobs, to improve our analysis and deep thinking. As Mr. Maslow said, that we should not be scared of AI to take our jobs, but we should be scared of the people who are knowing AI to replace us. So recruitment, it's really been hit by all angles, and also it helps in workforce planning, not only in the just the filtering and finding the right candidate, even on forecasting our needs by looking at the employees' engagement, linking all different HR modules, employees' engagement, performance, behavior of employee, their attendance, and the job requirement, comparing it with the business need, and then can forecast of your future requirements of the positions that you need. At the same time, AI can find you the right candidates as well.
Thank you very much, Ms. for these insights. And as I've worked for many years in recruitment, so I totally understand what you're saying, and I'm sure everyone here has experienced to, if not recruiter, at least he was recruited sometimes. So you remember the process, and everything has changed, and it's in the continuous phase of changing. And this takes me to Mr. Fuad. Since he comes from a different industry, and as we listened and we will have more discussions from banking and finance perspective and sector, but then Mr. Fuad can definitely give us more insights on how AI has been implemented and started in the oil and gas sector, as it's different and the challenges probably would be different. So if Mr. Fuad, can you just take us through the journey of how AI started in the oil and gas sector, and what are the recent, we can say, latest advancements of the AI in the sector?
We saw a presentation from Saud. It was very comprehensive in terms of where the industry is now. And I like the way that he demystified AI into the three pillars: automation, augmentation, and autonomy. But if we go back a little bit in time, the beginning of the industry, I would say mid-30s, when the industry started taking a lot of measurements, especially in the subsurface where I come from. And it used to be a lot of analog measurements or acquisitions, and there were a lot of geological measurements, seismic measurements, log measurements. There were measurements inside during the drilling process, but all of these data acquisition was done in silos, even when the industry progressed into digital. And then there was, every aspect of the industry had a traditional system or a legacy system specialized for it. So there's a system for drilling, there's a system for logging or well data acquisition, and the same thing for geology, seismic, and so on. And there was a conservative approach from the industry throughout, until I would say relatively recently, to be conservative when it comes to adopting AI or machine learning, because two major aspects. One of them is the high cost, the capital expenditure that was involved. Nowadays, I think technology made it easier or less costly, but in the early days it was very costly. On top of that, there was the risk aversion from the industry. So if they will allow AI to contribute in a big part towards the decision making, and then there is a failure, then who is accountable? Avoiding failure, they stay away. And the industry has made a lot of discipline-related engineers, and everybody is specialized in what they do. So not a lot of, in the past, data scientists and specialized people like Saud, for example. But then the industry, the second stage, I would say, when the digital era started and there are a lot of advancement in sensors and data structures and IoT and cloud computing, the industry became more ready to adopt or come into the AI age. And they add to that some predictive models, like in maintenance, when you have predictive maintenance, predicting that particular turbine is going to fail at this time, and how to be prepared for it, so that enhancing the uptime of the device or the apparatus or the machine, and reducing the cost of maintenance and so on, that gave the industry more confidence that artificial intelligence can actually help. And then we went into, like someone said, the advanced analytics and also real-time decision-making. I remember during COVID time, when we couldn't send people to the website to close a valve or open a valve based on some measurements on production or pressure, the industry started quickly going towards automation or real-time decision-making based on advanced data analytics. There was a lot of still lack of people who are capable of doing the job or adopting, augmenting, because, for example, until today in academia there is no course taught to petroleum engineers related to AI, for example. So that has to be done. And in order to persuade people, and I think a lot of oil and gas companies, and I think BDO is doing that, is telling engineers that, look, AI is going to help you to make a better decision. And that's what I mean, augmentation, Dr. Fatih, rather than just automation. And what we will see, if you ask me in the future, maybe Saud touched upon that, is the autonomous systems. We can see a lot of companies working on, for example, autonomous drilling rigs. So they are going to have these rigs go, pick a location, drill, finish, complete, with minimal interaction from humans. Again, is it augmentation or autonomy? It depends on where you draw the line, and I think I'm going to have a further discussion about when we are going to be ready for autonomy in this aspect. Challenges are many, as I said, but maybe I'm taking too long, and I pass on.
It's all right, no problem. Actually, I was very engaged on what you were saying, especially because it's nice to hear the challenges and the implications from different sectors and perspectives. And what you just mentioned about when we are ready, maybe there will be no time that we will be actually ready. Sometimes you don't need to be ready, it just comes. But then I also understand your concerns, and obviously the preparation is the most important tackle of it, and that's where I will actually jump to Nadine in this course, because here we want to know now from the project management perspective, and as project manager, what is required to be done before we actually launch an AI system. As we know that there are many companies have paid quite high amounts and money and invested in technology, but then they never went live for it. And there are others who are still, despite they went live and they started, but then they are not utilizing the most out of the technology and AI, and probably there was a missing element of it, which we would like to hear it from Ms. Nadine.
Okay, so basically, successful implementation need or require preparation. And firstly, before implementing any system, it's essential to have business goals in place. These goals work as a roadmap guiding the implementation and ensuring that the new system aligns with the business, or the goals of the company. So AI's potential depends on the need of the company. So it's important to know how can AI work or help in areas like resource allocation, risk management, and task automation. Secondly, it's important also to have stakeholders engagement. It's essential actually from the beginning of the implementation, and it has many benefits. For example, we can mention here, it's enhance the communication. It accelerates also the decision making, and also it helps us, for example, getting a unified goals here. From here I can I can move to another point which is really important, which I call actually readiness for change. Usually people or employees prefer to, for example, to stay in their maybe comfort zone doing their daily job, which is normal. Okay, so here the role of the project manager to explain the benefit of this implementation, especially for employees. We have here, for example, it increased efficiency. It is it will have to get a better insight. It will improve the productivity of the employees, and it will help also to get, for example, it's an easier access actually to the information, because AI will automate the normal works of the employees, so they will get time to, for example, finish more strategic work, focus on more important points to do. It will accelerate also their job, and it will maybe, we can say it will, for example, have to keep, for example, less mistakes. Okay, so from here I can also explain another point, which is the readiness for or making the data ready. It's actually one of the essential points as AI release on data. So here the project managers need to
But thank you, Nadine, for the very insights.
Just 1 minute.
So actually, it was very interesting what I was hearing, because you mentioned something which is extremely important, which is understanding the objective and the why of it. Why we need this. Before even why, there is a very important question, which is, do we need AI? Maybe we just need machine learning. Maybe we just need big data. So the first question comes in mind. Do we need AI? What's the purpose? So understanding and linking all the operations to the vision and mission of a company, and then understanding the need and the purpose of why we want this system to come in place, and then answering the why. Why are we doing this? What is the purpose? And most importantly is, what is the value? So thank you for tackling that very important points, and I will go back now to Dr. Faten to go back and take you to the finance part of it and the banking sector, the implications we've been hearing that actually my side, I have attended a couple of events, and I always see bank are part of it. when it comes to these topics. So we are curious to hear more about the AI implications in the finance sector and in Back-to-Far.
Certainly. Just to explain, I'm quite biased. Yes, I do come from the banking sector. It is, in my mind, one of the most dynamic sectors in Oman. And I feel that because of this dynamism, we had to bring out, automated processes and try to simplify our life when it comes to the banking sector as a whole. The banking sector is very simplistic if you think of it. It's the most simple model that come across in mind. I just need to simplify it for you, just to understand part of the audience are depositors and part of the audience are borrowers. And in between, I as a bank carry a risk. So the first thing in my mind, if I wanted to automate a function, would be 100% credit disbursement. So if you come to Back-to-Far and see what are the functions that are automated, comes first is the CAD, what we call credit administration, in which the disbursements goes at the end. I have to ensure that whomever borrows from me has a very high probability of repaying me, because if the risk happens of default, then it doesn't profit me. And at the end of the day, I'm a profit-making organization, so I do that with careful considerations. The banking sector is also automated. In fact, as I come to you here, I have to log into a system. Going back, I have to log into a system. Most of the activities of the banking staff are, and I believe that Ms. Haifa will vouch for that, we actually do that. So every movement that we do is counted for every hour, and this comes at the end of the year, very effective for the CHRO, who sees the efficiency level. She mentioned about efficiency level, which we check very periodically. However, the other function that is automated in Back-to-Far is not HR. Still, it goes at the bottom of the line. CAT first, then we are thinking operations. Now, I discussed with the card operations a couple of times on their automation. What do they do exactly, and how does automation help them? So specifically, everybody has a card over here, and sometimes you travel, and you are susceptible to suspicious transactions. So you notice that sometimes your card gets inactive, and this is because down the line, there is an automated function that ensures your safety and the safety of your accounts as well. So, and also it helps the staff at operational level to make decisions. As Fuad mentioned, at the end of the day, when you have a lot of functions, you want to automate them, and you have the data, use it, ensure that you have the proper modeling, and then you make the decision-making process. Why I feel that in Back-to-Far we are automated still is because there is a screen in which the manager decides. He has a decision, and if you know something about banking, we are obsessed with approvals. And like approve, or there's a verifier, maker, checker, and it's just that the function is so automated to the degree that we do the decision making at the end. So I'm not sure. I have to deliberate with Saud. Where is I don't see there is a recommendation, that's for sure, but the decision making happens at human level. So maybe I'll see the suggestive, predictive part later on as we become perfecting the system. At the end of the day, the banking system has access to data, and probably oil and gas has access to data. And this is the beauty of it, because we mentioned about AI, and we mentioned about the possibilities and probabilities and all this predictive analytics that you are having in your hand. But there is actually a data scientist who does this for you. He cleans the data, ensure that the variables are up to there. And because I've done my PhD, it was torture, to have the data and the variables before you run the regression, because that's actually what you're doing when everything is identified for you. It's just a hectic job to clean it up, make it in its purest form, and do it. So hands out for the data scientists out there who makes the data available for us to build these models. Another function that is automated in Back-to-Far is treasury, and that is for sure one of the most important aspects, because we are trying to make profits within those few days in which we are having extra money or less money. So we are doing the borrowing with each other as banks. And HR also comes, but it's like at the bottom of the list. If I would like to prioritize it as a bank, first comes the credit function. In fact, there are models now that makes decision making very easy. Credit evaluation function, the healthy level of the borrower for me to give him the amount that he wishes to have, whether it's an individual level or corporate. Then comes the operations. Then comes the as well the cards in general, the cards function. Then comes the other elements in a bank. So as mentioned by our colleagues today, that there is a very big value of the integration. And I am myself somebody who advocates technology. I believe in it specifically in different sectors. As I have mentioned before, specifically in Islamic finance, when Saud mentioned about Salama and I think another name Nejma. So can you believe even in my colleagues of Islamic finance, we are even discussing something called a Mufti robot. Now you have to think about it very, very carefully because that's very high in the realm of decision making, because we make some of the decisions based on his approval. He would tell us, that we give him the story. So can you imagine that this can be actually brought into this form? So I believe that there are so many challenges with integration as well, because there will be some jobs lost. Already Saud is depending on the 24/7. I wish if I could have that 24/7 staff who's there. It gives me the data, no complaints, no sick leaves, but it doesn't happen. So maybe one day.
Absolutely, thank you, Dr. Pathan. It was very interesting. And maybe later we can discuss more about this robotic mufti and how
By the way, we are actually discussing it. It's reality. It's happening.
Yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. So mentioning all the challenges, I would definitely go back to Ms. Haifa in this regards. And but before I have my question, I was reading some time back. There was a study that happened in 2023. And despite that the whole world is going towards technology, digital transformation, and AI, I was very surprised when I read that there is only, according to one of the studies, 58% of companies who have actually gone live on AI from the HR perspective, so the HR solutions and system. They've done all the other sectors, the operations, finance, but the HR part. So this takes me to understanding more from your background as an expert, what challenges that we are facing in the recruitment, especially that we are touching very sensitive elements when we talk about human and people, and we're still arguing and negotiating that who is taking control of who. So that AI who is going to take it one day, or if we as humans, because we have created AI at the end of the day, and if we are actually going to tackle it and get it done through to our favor and how we want it. So please, if you can just tell us about what would be the limitation or the challenges that we can overcome when getting AI into recruitment and dealing with talent management.
In my opinion, the challenges is not only recruitment, what I will mention, it's like in all functions. As people think like robots will come and they will replace them, so there will be resistance from employees. They will think like, okay, now I will no longer be needed. And that resistance creates a lot of like slowness in the process. So we need to communicate clearly to the employees, as you said, like the objective of the projects that we are implementing, why we want to implement that, what benefit it's getting us, how they can improve themselves, what type of training they need to get. So it's all helping to the success of the projects, the success of the implementation. The other part of the challenges, it is like, you know that AI is all algorithms, all coding. In recruitment, if we put, or any system, if we put right data, if we put right coding, then it will give us the right result. If anything is wrong, coding is wrong, a biased coding, or the information that keyed in are wrong, definitely we get wrong outcomes. wrong results. So in recruitment, we want to have unbiased filtering, unbiased selection. We want to be based on certain criteria that we want. But for any reason, if the past data have any kind of biasness, the result will be biased. So this is another challenge. Also, like integration is another part. So if systems are like not properly integrated with HRMS or other support functions, then again the results wouldn't be as we expected. So it needs to, open your eyes properly how you integrate different systems together and how the systems talk to each other.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah. Other challenge, I would say the data need to be secured. Even one of the most major needed function in the market now is cybersecurity. So it's like client data, employees data needed to be secured properly. Otherwise, it might end up of like putting us on the legal consequences and implications. So it is like a combination of different functions, of different aspects that you have to think carefully if implementing any of the AI systems. And to also how once the AI will come and it will replace certain positions, definitely other positions will be created, and those are like mostly based on understanding AI, understanding the systems. HR function overall is people-centric function, and it's more AI wouldn't be able to understand employee sentiments or interpersonal skills. So still HR functions are like needed in that matter, and it needs to know more about how to resolve conflicts, how to understand employees, how to help them, which AI, it is like black and white, yes or no. Why anything that comes, anything that new in this situation, only humans can work on it and can help. So anything to do with innovation, anything to do with the critical thinking, anything to do with the strategy thinking, it's needed in humans. And as I've said, that the systems will be replacing certain repetitive functions, but still new functions will be coming up. Deployment will be part of the processes as well. The need, we have to look where the need of the new positions will come. Upskill employees, give them different knowledge, and deploy them to those needy positions.
That's very enlightening actually, because upskilling is very important, so with continuous learning and companies, and again, we go back to the AI here. In 2020, 100% of universities around the world went into e-learnings. So when the lockdown, so people become creative, and technology has helped us to be more creative in understanding those challenges, and the most important is how to tackle them. So thank you, Ms. Haifa, on this. And you're definitely taking me to Ms. Nadine from the project management perspective, and the challenges that Ms. Haifa mentioned, and their different stakeholders and different departments. So today we want to understand and get more about what is the role of the project manager in this regards. Like, because AI is becoming common now in each and every sector and industry. So what is required from the project manager for him to prepare and to adapt to be able then to run big projects?
Okay, so basically, as you already mentioned, the appearance of AI right now is like, or maybe the project manager here should transfer from traditional roles to be more, for example, to be more like strategic leaders. And here it's so important to learn about AI, to know how to maximize the benefit of AI with their project. And it's also important to keep the communication with the stakeholders about AI, how AI can improve our work or our benefit, to get more benefits from this project.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nadine. Mr. Fark, I think we've been a little bit heavy on our audience, discussing about challenges and challenges and challenges. But then maybe there might be some hope. There should be some solution. There should be some light. So from the sector and your experience, and from oil and gas sector, if you can just tell us about what we can do about all these challenges. You mentioned about the challenges that occurred in this regard, especially in the oil and gas sector, where there are different machines and there are big operations that are taken care of with data and with responsibility. So how we can simplify things, what solutions we can do to ease the process of accepting and getting it right with technology and specifically in AI.
Very good question, the way you articulated it. I will go and try to associate or divide it into four big aspects of challenge and the solutions that are revolving around them. So we can say, and from what I am hearing from my co-panelists, it's data, people, regulation, and also a lot of culture that needs to be sorted. Yeah. So from the data perspective and what we have seen in our industry, because our data was always acquired in silos, different systems from each other. My colleague here mentioned about integration of different systems. We are still in our industry trying to overcome that, and that is coming from the additional computing power that is coming available in our access and hands. And also the advancement in digitalization and digital structures like cloud and cloud computing and so on. But from the people perspective, and we talked about it briefly, in our industry there was the lack of AI-ready talent, and I like the way Saud articulated it and said, it's not going to be AI taking your job, but AI-equipped people who are going to take your job. So this is a very important message, and it sums it up. And what we need to do in order to overcome that as a solution is academia. Definitely there's a lag that is going with academia when it comes to AI. Now I just want to, you said 2020, and that was actually in June 2020 was the major breakthrough that took place in AI. The GPT, the generative pre-trained transformers. And this is a technology that can talk to you. You can chat with it. And the solution that, or the way OpenAI did it, or Google, is by putting huge computing power and a lot of data. So they downloaded the whole wide web to go through that computing power and come up with this very impressive technology. And I think that when AI technology started accelerating and going very quickly, to the extent now people should we, in oil and gas industry, should we go back to neural networks, which are more precise and structured, and they have a certain objective and precision, or should we go to generative AI, and then maybe even further by multimodal AI, which you described your obsession with the video analysis and the image capabilities. So again, what I mentioned about bridging the culture gap is that to persuade all of those engineers who spend years and years studying that particular discipline at university, and they think that you have gained the expertise and the experience, like, yeah, you can do it on your own, but if you use AI, it's going to make your life a lot easier, and you can arrive at a decision much quicker, more precise, especially when it is to do with a lot of data. And I tell you, I mean, in our industry, we do a lot of acquisition for subsurface imaging, seismic in particular. If we give it to a group of individual scientists, it will take them months and months to find where the oil is. if you throw that at a very good, capable AI, it will give you an answer in a much shorter time, and most probably is going to be a good accuracy to that answer. Now, when it comes to regulation, and this is something that we are worried about in our industry, is about the fear of failure. If we let the machine and the artificial intelligence more and more take part of the decision making from us, and then we arrive at a catastrophe, God forbid, then who is responsible? Who is accountable? Then, in my opinion, there has to be a lot of, from two aspects, a lot of work with regulatory bodies, governments, that is in one hand, and also from the other hand, AI should be explainable. Like, how did you arrive at this decision? I mean, there has to be a way that, even from the legal perspective, like how this decision was arrived at, what is the interpretation or explanation of the sequence where we got to. There are a lot of things that are amazing happening, coming out of AI, and we don't know how they are happening. I mean, and yeah, it's impressive, and we should tap into it. But when it comes to a lot of high stakes at hand, there has to be a way that we make sense out of it. How did it come to this decision, if something happens? And the last thing that I would like to highlight is that the distinction that we should maybe teach our upcoming generation about the different aspects or the different types or capabilities of AI. As I said, there is machine learning, as I said, which is a subset of AI, neural networks, and then you have generative AI, and then have multimodal generative AI, and so on. Yeah,
that's very interesting, actually, how you have categorized them and explained, because the most important thing before we start anything is to understand. So today we're discussing this challenges, the solutions, the potential, and we are taking you through the thinking process of how you can actually implement and start those technologies in your companies, and even it's becoming like a lifestyle today. So, Dr. Fatima, I have a very interesting and tricky question for you in this regard, because when we talk about people and strategies, and recently I was speaking to someone, and they said that person said something, it was group discussion, but that person said something that was very interesting, actually, and new to me, and I would like to also, I was arguing on that also, that in the companies, the role of training department is only 10% of giving the knowledge to the employee, but then there remains 90% of that on the employee's shoulder to be willing to learn and understand. And at the beginning, I felt, as I'm working in the HR development and talent management, and then I was like, no, and we are spending 9 hours every day and more to work on this aspect, and you were giving it a weight of 10%. But then thinking it back took me to the 20 and 80%, and when we solved the 20%, 80% ago. So I'm not sure how much you agree with that, but then we would like to hear more about how do we need to prepare our people today, and what is the responsibility of the organizations to do the cultural transformation, to reduce the fear that is in there, because we understand and we are aware, and as an HR expert, that there is fear. So how we can give them that relaxing culture and give them, rather than just giving them the answers, giving them the tools and techniques to get it done.
To comment first of all about the percentage. In fact, in L&D we do have a matrix about ability and willingness. So training does support people who are motivated to learn. They are willing and able. There are some people who are unwilling but able. And it's a challenge, because I see that also Haifa is building, yes, we are having a big challenge. In fact, one of my staff came to me last week. He told me, doctor, I want to do higher education. And then I saw the specialization he selected. I told him, consider that I am your mother. Of course, I'm younger than that age, but I did tell him, consider that I'm your mother. I'm giving you advice. This specialism does not stand the long time. It's not for longevity, for your career, for your progression. But he held his stand and he insisted on the specialization. It's a very, very generic specialization, and I advised him to go tech. I advise him to take some of the specializations that are very demanded these days. Youngsters at this age are studying data science, data analytics, cybersecurity, and artificial intelligence. I'm afraid that we are at a juncture that if you don't want to do it, you are unwilling, you may not have a choice, actually, because the younger generation is here to take. And I even told,
with AI.
absolutely, I actually told my staff that have you seen the fresh graduates? We have a wonderful batch of fresh graduates. If I don't take notes, huh? So, and then then I told him, have you seen them? How, argumentative they are, how they have beautiful ideas. And I told him one statement, they will eat you alive. And he, reflected. And then he reflected, actually, he thought about it, that they are really, really good. For the future, I'm afraid that you have to take the steps for you because you are responsible for your success. I will not go into percentages. We are here as facilitators only. As much as we would like to convince, negotiate, sit down, there is a choice that people make, and that choice is up to them fully. What I can do in future, that probably in my fresh graduate programs, is introduce agility and transformation and a bit of digitization into it. And that is already something I'm thinking about. Because organizations nowadays need to upskill and include the other competencies that did not exist before. And the truth of the matter is the youngsters are taking a lot of interest. They're hungry, they're thirsty for more knowledge. They're doing it. I'm learning from them as we speak. And I feel that it is something that you need to make. It's a decision making that you need to do. Otherwise, the machines are coming. They're going to take, as I told you, I just gave you the example of the robo-advisory and robo-mufti. So there is no job that is at safety at the moment. Even a surgeon. Can you believe we have machines who do surgeries? So I feel that this is something that need to be reflected by the individual. We have mentioned a lot of challenges. I have heard only one job that can be saved in this era, which is a psychologist, somebody who really comes into the thinking of human behavior. So there is an aspect of ethics that is also need to be considered while we are programming these machines. In fact, while I'm speaking with my colleagues, there was an opportunity in which two robots were allowed to speak to each other. And in my mind, that's a very scary, future. I love technology. I'm a very advocate of technology, but we have in the banking sector so many chapters. One of those chapters is on fraud detection and cybersecurity. I got really awakened in one of the seminars in which I realized that I'm targeted by companies. The algorithms tell them what I like. In fact, sometimes when I Google and you notice it completes the words for me or completes my sentence. It's like I have a preferred English writing style and it completes it for me. And I realize that they know how I'm thinking. It's a pattern. And to me, I don't know, I feel it's scary. It is scary that somebody knows who I am, where I live, how I'm thinking. They can open the camera whenever they would like. They have this information that we love and volunteer data in every application that we put in. We allow. So to me, it is food for thought. And hopefully, the younger generation can take it forward. Actually, there is a step in which we have to pass the torch to them. And I think it's a very good idea for us to sit as stakeholders and strategize for them to take, the lead for the future to come.
Thank you, Dr. Faten. That was very the question was interesting and heavy, but then the answer took it all over, and I was thinking of how you brought it all together. But you've given us a gift just now when you mentioned something about the choice. So at the end of the day, it's the choice. And as an individual and as a company or an institute or an organization, that it's all about choices at the end of the day. And do I want to be part of everything in this VUCA environment and life? Do I really want to cope and challenge, or I just want to sit and watch? And what if I just sit and watch? What will be the challenges? What will be the circumstances out of that? So maybe that's something that takes me to the audience now. I am sure that you have learned as much as I did from our expertise here, and probably you might be having some questions in that regard. And I'm sure they would be humble enough to answer you in that. So if Mr. Mohammed Haider can help us, if anyone had any question for our panelists on the AI and the discussion that just happened. Okay, so we're taking that moment of silence and digesting of everything, because you took us to think that we need to be well prepared, and there is awareness out of it.
That's okay, I can. So I hope that I'm audible. Yeah. So I, first of all, thank you very much for inviting us actually, and include the full session here. It was remarkable for my knowledge, and I think that everyone will agree and agreed when Mr. Zakwani started the session. We all had the eye opener. So my question actually goes in the upskilling. And in organization, we have the younger generations who are really familiar with these concepts of the AI. And we have also the experienced. And let's say that if you go to normal distribution, we would say that, let's say 20 to 60% will actually fall in these categories that they are in the middle. They are not as knowledgeable as the fresh graduates who study the data science, and they're not into the managerial level where they can see the strategies going through the AI. And I think these are the worry and concern parts. So when we speak about upskilling, what exactly upskilling is? Is it the training only, certifications only? So what's the upskilling?
Thank you for your question.
Upskilling has different meanings. It depends on the departments that they are working on. First of all, it is like employees need to have their full hands into their jobs that they're doing. Even though, like what mentioned, that the training will take only 10%, the rest 90%, even though I will give the trainings, if I will give like technical trainings, whatever type of training that needed them to be upskills, but 90% they have to be on their jobs and to understand. So each function will have different nature. Each function will have like different trends that it comes into the place. So this, the middle category, they need, first of all, is a matter as mentioned by Dr. Fatin and Rehab, that is a matter of choice. Do really they want to be on the track or not? If they don't, then tomorrow it's coming and will eat them. The youngster will eat them. They'll be out of job. But if they really need to upgrade, it's not only by taking certifications, but also to know the depth of their jobs that they're doing, bringing up new ideas, innovation, critical thinking. This all coming through the training. This not the training that I mean the certification, but on-job training. That also all coming by experience. So they have to be open-minded. They should have growth mindset, not the fixed mindset.
Thank you, Ms. Haifa, and mashallah, the topic was very interesting that it took us to we are here at the end of this wonderful event. So I would like to take this opportunity once again to thank each and every one of you. We've learned a lot, we've got new insights, and it's our role now to actually go and reflect back and think of what's next. And there is saying that says, if within 3 days' time I don't take any action, then I will not take an action. Thank you once again, and have a lovely day.
Thank you so much for the great discussion. Thank you, Ms. Nadine, Mr. Fuad, Mrs. Fatin, Mrs. Saifa, and Mr. Rihab for this amazing discussion. I have learned a lot of AI and how we can implement it now in our companies and as well in other companies. So.